What's up? Welcome back. Today we're talking about swim baits. This is the Bass Mafia Daingerous. This is the loaded swim bait. I'll tell you about it. It's pretty cool. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this content. Like I say in all my videos, please like and subscribe. Love all the new followers. Keep subscribing. I really appreciate it. And thanks to the ones that have been there for a while. I'm going to keep doing these videos, primarily focused on tackle. And I do a lot of unboxing videos. That's kind of part of it. You know, stuff gets sent to me, I order things, whatever the case. I take a look at it, show you my first impressions. Then a few months later, after I fish the stuff, we go over it. And that's what we're going to do now with the Daingerous, the Chris Zaldain Daingerous loaded swim bait. So if you're not familiar with this is a Bass Mafia swim bait. And I'll kind of run through the different sizes because there's actually 6 versions of this thing. So this is one that I was using most recently. And that's a little tip too, is just throw it back in this package so they don't get all beat up. You know, they don't get bent or anything like that. You can see I have my line on there. I just threw it back in this same package. That way the tail stays straight. So that's what I do with mine. Plus I can keep track of exactly what it is, and that will make more sense in a minute. Because these swim baits come in 3 sizes, a 5, 6, and 7 inch. Then there's also 2 versions of each of those. That's why I said there's 6 of them. There's a shallow and deep of each one. So putting it back in this case allows me to remember if it's deep or shallow, and then obviously what size it is and color, things like that too. So this is the one I was just recently using. I actually caught a couple fish on this. But the cool thing about this whole concept of this swim bait is this hook comes out like that. So all you do is slide your line through there, tie your hook on there, and then slide it back in. Now that's probably going to be an issue there with I'll cut that line off to show you what it actually does, but this hook right here goes in there. There's a slot for it and a harness inside of here for it to fit perfectly. Then once it's tied, then once you hook a fish, the fish stays hooked. This will slide up your line and less chance of a fish throwing the bait. You know, this is a heavy bait. This is a couple ounces. This is 2.5 ounces. So you think of that, a fish jumping with 2.5 ounces, if it's connected to it, it has a lot better chance of throwing the hook. That's why that's such a good idea to have the top hook line through design where this slides up and down your line and the fish doesn't have any leverage. And it works as intended for both the 7 inch that I've caught fish on and then the 5 inch as well. I haven't really caught many on the 6 inch, I just haven't fished as much, but it's a very good swim bait no matter what size you like. Has a great action, great kicking action, really natural. You could see how much that bend you got in the tail there. That's always a test I kind of do to see how flexible they are. Now they swim, like I said, they swim incredibly well. They track really true no matter how fast you're reeling it. They're not rolling, which is a problem with a lot of other swim baits that are similar. I mean, it's no secret, Zaldain used to work with Megabass. He helped make the Mag Draft so popular, and then he left Megabass, obviously, went to Bass Mafia and built a swim bait kind of off of that, but completely different. Like I said, there's a harness inside of here. It's pretty heavy. Like I said, this is a 2.5 ounce for the deep version. You know, for the deep of the 6 inch, you got a 1.9 ounce. So they're pretty heavy baits because of that weight harness system inside of them, which again, the way it's designed, it's really flat. You could kind of see it through there, but it really helps keep the bait running straight without rolling, which is a huge deal. With these deeper versions, I fished them right along the bottom because they are heavy. They get down quick. You know, but the shallower version isn't that much lighter. Like for instance, this is a 5 inch 1 ounce for the deep, and it's 0.95 ounce for the shallow. So really about the same, but just that extra weight is how I would fish it more along the bottom. There is a little bit more difference in the harnesses and how they're set up, but as far as the weight, they're pretty similar, but there is a shallow and deep version for all 3 of them. Now, I've caught fish on the 7, got some smallmouth on this, even though it looks big. I had tons of fish following this bait, and I could see it on my forward-facing sonar. I mean, it got their attention. Like, basically, anytime I was really watching it, there was a fish at least coming out from a rock to look at it. Didn't catch all of them, obviously, but it really got their attention. So it really has that nice kicking action that really got the attention of smallmouth in the clear water, and caught some nice ones on it too, like this one right here. So it was over 5 pounder on this bait right here, this exact bait. Now the smaller sizes, I haven't fished some of these crazy colors, and that's one thing if I had one negative thing to say about it is some of the colors are not very good. I mean, honestly, they're really, really bright. Maybe they're better for dirtier water. You know, there's a lot of like turquoise and green kind of colors in them. You know, so some of them just don't look very natural. Of course, you got your pearl. That looks just like any other pearl. It's a great color. This one's a pretty good color too. This is the one I was using up in Idaho that I caught the fish on. So again, some of the colors aren't ideal for me, but you know, that doesn't mean they wouldn't work for you in your situation when you're fishing dirtier water or, you know, whatever the case, it may work better. So going back to that, the colors were not ideal for some of them, but there are some really good colors in the lineup. So like I said, the 5-inch, I fished this one. Actually, my buddy Hunter caught some on this. It was a shad color one, more closer to this one. You know, we were fishing a few months ago when I first got these, and he was catching some fish on that as well. For both the 5-inch and the 7-inch, it worked as intended. The bait slid up, didn't lose the fish, which is awesome. That's one of the biggest things about this, is that top hook line through design. So I really like that about them. Now, as far as price, they're not super cheap, but they're not really that expensive either. You know, the 5-inch is 13 bucks, the 6-inch is 15 bucks, or $15.99, I believe, and then it's $16.99 for the 6-inch. So not super cheap, but they are pretty durable, really highly engineered, you know, with that weight system in there. This is a better picture too. You can see that weight all the way down here. Again, it runs very, very true. If you're used to a mag draft where you really have to kind of finesse it and get it to just reel it just right with the right amount of bow and everything to keep it from rolling, you're gonna really like this, because you could just burn it however you want to, and it's really hard to get it to roll because of that cradling weight system that they put in there. So that's a really cool feature. Again, the top hook design is really good as well, works as intended. Decent colors, not great. Price, okay, not super expensive, not super cheap either, but overall I really like fishing these. I'm going to keep fishing them. I think I'm not even really in the prime swim bait season, you know, that spring and post spawn for these kind of swim baits, in my opinion, you know, skipping around docks, that sort of thing. It's going to be really good this spring and this post spawn. You know, speaking of skipping docks, it skips incredible. You know, all of them do. You know, so does the mag draft, so does the coal shad. They are all, just because of the design, they skip really well. So don't be afraid to skip one of these. Even with that top hook design, you're not going to hook up as much as you think or snag as much as you think, but they do work. Kind of going back to it, you know, you can fish them all over the place. Not just docks, you could fish them around brush piles, grass, all sorts of things. There's a lot of things you can do with a swim bait like this, and it's cool that they have 3 sizes. You know, that 5-inch is brand new, just came out. Now you got 3 options. And again, pretty good swim bait overall. I really like how true it runs, and then that top hook design. So there you go, that's the Daingerous Chris Zaldain loaded swim bait from Bass Mafia. Thanks for watching.